What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this video. So, I am a comic reader. I've been reading comics for years, and well, this is a video I've wanted to do for quite some time, and really, I wanted to bring you my favourite top 10 comics of all time. So there are a plethora of comics out there, to be honest, aren't there? There are absolutely an endless supply, but these are my top 10, so if you're new to the channel and you enjoy the video, a subscribe and a like will be super appreciated. Please also do click that bell button to get notifications. So welcome, and this is going to be my top 10. So we're going to start off with the big one, the biggest comic, the most iconic comic, I would say, between comic readers and comic fans of all time, and that is Watchmen. So Watchmen was, and still is, to be honest, a landmark and groundbreaking comic created by Alan Moore. This comic deals with absolutely everything. So we take the myth of superheroes and we apply it to an incredibly gritty nature. And arguably, you can trace back the trend of gritty and grounded superhero comics right through to Alan Moore's Watchmen. This deals with the Minutemen, a Justice Society type group who disbanded, and then they had a brand new version come in with new characters, etc. And then really they disbanded. But it is at its heart a murder mystery. A major character from the Minutemen was killed off at the start of the issue, and it deals with one of the members, Rorschach, is a Batman question character kind of hybrid, and he goes through and wants to work out just who the hell killed the comedian. And then it leads right through to one of the biggest mysteries and ethical conundrums of all time. Now, I won't give you any spoilers really for this, because if you haven't read this, I think you do actually need to go and read it, and I would recommend all of these for you to read, to be honest. But Watchmen is one of the most, I would say, gripping reads on the list, to be honest. Granted, it is a very, very long comic with full of kind of appendices and all kind of different parts, and a very weird and apt story of the ghost ship, a sub-story which features a man who is marooned after a shipwreck, which is pretty decent, and it's the Tales of the Black Freighter, which weirdly is also available on the special edition of the Watchmen Blu-ray. And personally, I haven't actually watched that yet. I'm not really interested in watching the adaptation of that, but I really did enjoy the adaptation of the Watchmen, even if quite a few people didn't actually enjoy it. So this deals with very, very adult themes, very heavy themes, existential crises, and is also coming to the DC universe, the main DC universe, in the Button storyline, which has just happened in DC Rebirth as well, with Dr. Manhattan, one of the most intriguing characters of the whole book. Now we move on to the first of two Batman stories featured in this list, with The Dark Knight Returns. So obviously The Dark Knight Returns is Frank Miller's masterpiece, in my opinion, of an old and aging Batman who is retired and is coming back to active duty. Kind of similar to the Batman vs. Superman storyline, which took a lot from this, but that also did take a lot from the death of Superman as well with Doomsday. But The Dark Knight Returns, we have a brand new Robin, we have the Batman come back, only to find that Superman is a government shill and doing whatever the government wants, because he seems to think that they are right in everything. But the art, the action in it just looks stunning, and the themes are just superb in my opinion, and it is one of the best Batman stories. Now, next up we have the Court of Owls storyline, which is pretty much starting off at the start of Batman New 52, which was written by Scott Snyder, who is a superb writer, of course, the writer of Black Mirror as well, Batman, which featured Dick Grayson being Batman. But Court of Owls is a very intriguing storyline where we see Batman besieged by an ancient group of kind of like Freemasons mixed with the Illuminati, the group who really do actually rule Gotham, who put on the owl masks and really do take over and control everything in Gotham, which I thought was really, the way it was revealed and the way that Batman has to face these Talons, these people who have been on cryogenically frozen for years. Well, he has to face them, and well, they've been dead or properly dead for years. So it's a really cool bit there. I think that the whole storyline is well executed, and it's nice seeing Batman face an actual Gotham villain, a kind of story of his city. Granted, it has been featured on Gotham, the TV show, but personally, I don't think the way they've done it was actually the best way of doing it. I think the best way of having this story featured is featured when Batman has been around for quite some time and thinks he knows everything. So next up we have Flash Rebirth, which is a very good comic in my opinion, and is really intended to bring back Barry Allen and features him as he adjusts to life when he has been missing in the Speed Force after he supposedly died during the battle in Crisis on Infinite Earths. So a very, very good comic there, and features some of the best characters, features the entire Flash family, and introduces the new origin of Barry Allen, where Reverse Flash went back and killed his mother, which you'll know if you watch the Flash TV show. So definitely worth picking up and reading if you are a fan of the Flash and Barry Allen in general, or the entire Flash family. Next up we have Judge Dredd, and Judge Dredd, if you're in America, you may not have really heard of just how good Judge Dredd actually is. You may have seen the Sylvester Stallone film and the recent film with Carl Urban, which was just absolutely amazing. We're actually getting a Judge Dredd miniseries on, I hope it's Netflix that they should be showing on. But Judge Dredd has had decades of stories, and it's tough to pick. But personally, I think the one that resonates with me the most is Judge Dredd America, which deals with a young girl in Mega City 1, which the world has been destroyed due to nuclear war, and people can only survive in these huge mega cities ruled by the judges, which are the law enforcement and really harsh treatment of people. And we have a love story between a comedian and a girl who grow up together, but the girl, called America, actually really does grow disillusioned with how the megacity is run, and then slowly rebels. And it's just a stunning story which doesn't really feature Judge Dredd all that much, but it is a really, really touching tale and is highly worth reading if you've never read 2000 AD or Judge Dredd, because Judge Dredd is actually featured in the anthology comic 2000 AD. So next up we have Civil War, Marvel's Civil War. Recently we had Marvel's Civil War 2, which was a sort of pseudo-sequel to Civil War. A nuke goes off, and then the Iron Man, Tony Stark, feels incredibly guilty about just what he's doing as a hero, and wants to put the Superhero Registration Act to kind of hold these heroes to account. But Captain America and his team really do have a real problem with this, because they think that, well, the superheroes should act outside of the law, and this is why they exist. They exist to be where the government and the police just can't do what they need to do. And we have some stunning fights when the battle lines are drawn. And it's a lot different, really, because we have Sue Storm, Fantastic Four, and many other characters, the X-Men as well, featured in it, which weren't in the film, of course, the Captain America Civil War storyline. So definitely worth reading, even if you have seen the film. So next up we have Why the Last Man, which is one of my favourite independent comics, one of my non-superhero comic favourites, which is what happens when all of the men are wiped out on Earth and just one dude is left. You think that he would absolutely love it, but it turns out that, well, these women have learnt to live without men and kind of think that it was God raining down righteous justice on the men for ruining the earth. So at one point he thinks he's going to get all of the women, and then he have the new Amazonians who are trying to kill him. So it is a really, really gripping comic and definitely worth reading. So next up we have the Astonishing X-Men Gifted storyline, which was written by Joss Whedon and deals with the mutant cure that is possibly going to come along, and actually is one of the best written, I think, X-Men stories of all time. And his entire run was really, really good and is definitely worth reading if you are a fan of X-Men. So the penultimate one here we've got is V for Vendetta, which I definitely think is weirdly apt yet again in the world, where we have a man fighting against a tyrannical government, which in the UK is set in the UK, and we have a huge war that happened, and then people back this kind of government madness, really awful government, and they are just awful, really, just a religious nuts. But this man leads the people against them, and it is using the face of Guy Fawkes, which the Anonymous group have taken up. So lastly, we have Superman Red Sun, which is a very kind of interesting what-if storyline, where what if Superman actually landed in Russia during the Cold War, and we feature this with Superman becoming the hero of Russia, and with Batman trying to take him down. We have a very interesting fight, some really, really awesome action, some art, and I love the what if storylines pretty much in comics, so it's definitely worth reading there. So that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Please do drop a like if you want to see more of this kind of content in the off season of all the TV shows. Also, please do drop a subscribe as well. It's mega appreciated if you are already subscribed. So that is it for this video. I'll see you soon, and goodbye.